I just built a completely automated lead follow-up system using Manus AI. And I gotta tell you, this is the future of making money online with AI. Whether you want to start a business, build these for other companies, or just do a side hustle, this is super important. What you're about to learn, according to Fortune Business Insights, is projected to be a $1.7 trillion industry. So pay close attention and get ready to learn how AI automation works. This is a super in-demand, high-value service, and I'm going to show you how I built it right here, right now. And we're actually going to show you the live demo of it working. You can see over here, we have the emails open, and they're coming in pretty much every couple of minutes. And not only that, but behind the scenes, AI is working on these leads without any interaction from me. Yep, it's all automated. Automated. So come on. Let's dive in to the world of AI automation. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into how this works with the automated sales and the leads and everything like that. This is super important. We're actually going through, all I'm using is a cPanel hosting with the email that is on the host and all of the installed stuff. Now, I did have to install a mail server program, which was pretty easy. AI actually gave me the download. I uploaded the zip and it did it all for me, which was really cool with some kind of mailer program there, which is great. So now what we're going to do is, and that was just to receive emails. We're not going to be using it to do anything other than receiving and sending to Manus. So that's all that that script is going to be doing. Now, in addition to that, I also have my email here, which I showed before, and you can see the leads are actually coming in pretty quickly. Every couple minutes, we are getting leads there, which is really good. So we're going to show you how this works. Now, it's very important that I had this request number. More about that in just a minute. Let me show you the idea of how this works. We'll get our handy dandy notebook here, right? And we're going to go through and map this out. So first of all, what we're going to do is we are going to have Manus AI do the research based on the lead. So Manus is going to get the lead, and it's very important on the lead that I don't put any private information. I don't want the person's email or any other information for them. We just want the number. That's why I put the number here, so that I can match this email with whatever it says in Manus. So you can see here, 12831 goes to, and I just have the first name there, so nothing too crazy, will match to this one. So I would just go through there and say 12831 is matching to 12831 here. Very simple, okay? Now, what I wanted to do is I wanted to have Manus go through and do the research on the person's request. So think about it this way. Let's say you were a car finder. You help people find used or new cars, okay? Find new, used cars or whatever, okay? So they're gonna find cars. Now, what you would wanna do is you'd wanna have a set of what they want. So maybe they put in their zip code, and it'll go through and it'll say, I want a 2021 or newer Dodge Ram, and I want it to have an 8-cylinder because I like gas or whatever it is, and you're going to have that there. And what'll happen is it'll say, okay, here's what you want. You want it under $25,000, no previous recs or whatever it is, and then Manus would take this data. It would take the zip code or whatever it is, and it would figure out based on the sites that you say, maybe you could say go to Auto Trader and all these other sites, and find the cars that are good for them. And then what you can do is you can have a predetermined criteria or website you own where it could go through and find that data for them. This is actually really, really cool. And if you're starting to understand the power of this, let me know as a comment below. I'll go more into this whole AI automation thing, but it's very important that you look at. So now what I did is I have the site here where I list all my domains. Okay, so this is the site where I list all my domains. People can go in here and find all my domains. So what I did is I actually gave this domain site to Manus, and then I said, okay, when the person fills out the form, okay, here's what the form looks like. We have this here, domain, let me see if I can find it, right over here, and then I believe I have way too many domains. Here we go. It looks like this, okay? So the person comes here and they fill out the form. So it says, let Marcus find your perfect niche. So this was based on niche marketing. A customer comes in here, fills this out, says, here's my name, here's my email, here's my niche ideas. Maybe they say fishing and maybe mortgage loans or whatever it is, okay? Then they say their experience. This is more or less for me and for Manus to look at because it'll actually draft the email and then I just copy and paste it. And you can see these are literally coming in every couple minutes, which is really cool. You're gonna see how this works. Now, backtrack a little bit because I know I'm all over the place. When we look at this, this is based on something that I started doing back in 2001. I think it was maybe even 2000, but I know for a fact it was 2001. Where I had an SEO agency. And what I would do is I would go to paid ads. I used 7 search back then. Yes, that kind of dates me a little bit. But we could go through and I would buy ads for people looking for SEO services. I would get traffic instantly. I would drive them to a form, which was like this. Okay, it was a very simple form. It was like, put your website in here. What kind of traffic do you want? Tell us about your business, everything like that. And they would get a free SEO audit. Free audits, free custom things. These work like crazy to get leads. I mean, think about it in the car industry, like we mentioned earlier. If I have the car industry and I'm like, hey, I'll find you the best priced car in your area based on your criteria. I mean, what better value proposition could that be than saving you tons of hours finding this thing that you want and finding a deal? And you could literally make a service around it or sell this to car dealers in your area or whatever it is. This is something super powerful. Now, before we dive any deeper, because this is so powerful, in the beginning we talked about $1.7 trillion business that is available according to some reports, okay? I wanna give you a big fat disclaimer. While this has made me money for a long time, getting leads, giving something, and then selling something, right? That's the formula. That's the magic. Like when people say sales funnels, all of this stuff, that's the magic. It could literally be a 3-page deal where they go through. And I'm gonna show you how this works in just a minute. We're gonna walk through it. But the big fat disclaimer is, well, I've made money with this. While projections are saying it's trillions of dollars, I want you to remember that the vast majority of people trying to make money online make nothing. Some even lose money. This is a business. It takes work. It takes effort. Even if you do everything right, there is no promise that you're going to get anything. Got to understand this. We need to get real about this because in the age of AI, people are going to be promising all kinds of crazy stuff and you're going to want to pay for things and it might not be what it's cracked up to. So make sure there's a disclaimer where people are honest and upfront about how the business works. Now, when we look at this, we're going to look at this automated lead answer system because when someone comes in here, they're going to fill this in. Maybe they say no experience or whatever, and then we could say, what's your budget? I put this in just to see if people do have a budget, and then they can send a message to me and Alina. So this is a hybrid model where humans are going to intercede. Okay, so I'm going to get the data in Manus, edit it, send it to the customer. This is where they could say, oh, hi there, or whatever, I struggle with this, that, or the other, okay? Or maybe if they're in the car market, they could say, my credit's bad or something. Skills, none, or whatever, okay? Now what's gonna happen here, I'll go ahead and put an email so it'll take it. Okay, what's gonna happen here is this is going to now send to Manus. Watch, I'm gonna put this over here, and you're gonna see it'll come in the email, and then it'll come into Manus, okay? So watch very closely when we go over here. Where did our page go? We had it just a minute ago. And let's see. Here it is here. Okay, so this is the page, and we're gonna go ahead and fill this out and watch what happens in Manus. So right here, you can see we are at 1224, and it is now 1228. So we're gonna go ahead and push the button. That should automatically put it up here in Manus. It'll start circling and it'll have the 1228. There it is, new chat, domain options request. And you can see, here it is, and it does not have the email. I'm not passing anything sensitive to Manus because that's a whole big crazy thing you want to get into. So just simple stuff like this, right? And then we can go through and see Manus is actually reading the email and understanding the data. And not only that, but watch, it's actually going to go to my domain site and start finding domains based on what they want. This is super big because every time I get a lead, I don't want to go and look up, oh, what's the domain that's best for them? This is going to go and find 5 to 10 domain options for them. So fishing and mortgage, and it'll come up with the stuff that they want. Now, in addition to that, you might have noticed that this changed to 16. this also is sending me an email of the request. So Manus is not going to send the customer an email because I am not ready to trust it with that. And then of course, if I'm doing that, that's a whole nother privacy issue and stuff like that. So what we're doing is we're just using Manus to look at the data and say, oh, this is the best for this customer. So now we're going through and we're saying, okay, we're putting the domain phishing, it's looking for the domains and stuff like that. Much like this one here where it goes through and it gives a market analysis of what they wanted. So this guy must have said he wanted something in the debt validation or credit repair or something like that, right? And we could see it gave us an overview of the size of the market, which is really cool. Overview of the credit repair, debt settlement, and then it goes through and says what's good for that customer. And then it actually goes through and looks at the domains I have available, right? So it's going to go through and say, here's the domains we have available, and here's what's good for them, right? So now, and again, it's all tagged with the number so I can fit it in. So we could see crush this debt, tax debt. I mean, look at this. This does such a great job, and these are all domains that I own because I gave it that closed environment of how this works. Now, thinking about this in terms of like, could I do this for a car dealer, a mortgage lender, anyone that's looking for this stuff where this is going to aid you in this, now all I would have to do is reply to the email, right, and put in the info. Super simple, and I can add my own, my own sales message or whatever. And this even adds a sales message for you by having, hi Terry, thank you for reaching out. Bada bing, bada bang. Here's the domains that we have for you. Given your $500 budget, this is insane. Are you guys seeing the power of what this AI can do and how it just makes it super, super simple and it's automated? Now, in addition to that, we also have this button on the back end where once they click this, this is going to go to our Aweber list. So now they are going to be added to our Aweber, and obviously because I used a different email, it's going through there, but I could put one, let's see if we can add one here. Just add some characters here, and then it should do the trick, and then it'll go to the thank you, which would be a sales pitch, which is cool. So now we are literally having this big thing that works like crazy, and it's automated. Now, again, if you want me to go more in detail, let me know as a comment below. Let me show you how this works in real time. Actually, let's go through here and show you step by step. So first of all, we are using Manus's email feature. If you were to go into your Manus account, click here, click on Mail Manus, it's going to give you an email that you can send to. Okay, so you get one per account, so use it wisely. You wouldn't want too many in here unless you were able to do, maybe different headers where it would say, here's the car leads, here's the credit leads, or whatever. You could do that. Now, they allow you one email to send to and 3 allowed sending emails, right? So this could go through and I can have up to 3 emails that it'll say if an email comes from them, accept it. If it doesn't come from them, don't accept it. So what we would do is we would go through and create a tool based on this. So what I did is I went over to ChatGPT and I used Gemini as well, okay? In ChatGPT, I went through and I had a tool here. I think it was, let's see, right over here. We started creating the email issue here. So I created this generator, but it had an issue. So I went through and that's why we added that third step where they have to click and say, do you want to confirm to be on my mail list? Which is good because it adds another step of like, yes, this is what you're getting. It's good. They're saying it. Now with this, what I did is I went through and created a form, okay? This is what the form looked like. Now, when we look at this form, it is the find niche form, which ties into this form here. So this is the front end. This is going through, and the whole job of this form is to send this lead to my email over here, okay? And send it to Manus. All right, and you'll see that in here when we look at the code, and I will provide a version of this code that can be editable so that you guys can use it as well. There's actually 3 things you need. 1 is the front end page. 2 is the page that does the counting for the numbers going up so that you can match them. And 3 is the mailing thing, which is this here, okay? And it'll show you how to do that. And we'll have all the notes and everything so that you can set this up as well. I'll have a basic version and then a pro version in AI Profit Scoop. In the AI Profit Scoop membership, we are going to go through and teach this in detail today on a call and next week on a call as well. And then we're going to keep teaching a lot of stuff about AI automation because I believe this is the future. Now, going through here, you can see it has all kinds of code here. This is where the form is. So you can see that these line up with this form, right? So message to Marcus and Alina, there it is there, message, and on we go. Now, when we go through, it is going to go through and say, step 2, where do you send the email? And I have it blocked out because obviously there's email stuff in here you want to keep private, right? And then going through here, you're going to see we have the email I'm sending to. So this goes to me. I obviously want to include their email to me because I want to be able to email them back, right? Then we're going to go through, and the one to Manus is going to be here, which has those not included. And it's really easy. Like if you didn't want to include the host or whatever, you would just redact that. And this is where you would do that. And you can see that the email is redacted from here so that that doesn't pass on. Now, very important, what we have in the body of the email is our prompt. So this prompt is domain options needed, used this domain only to find them. So the first instruction is like, use this domain site to find this. So if you're doing this for like car dealers or houses or whatever, you'd be like, only look on this site. Maybe that site has the ones that are specific to what your customer wants or whatever it is. Or if you're a car dealer, maybe you would only want it to look at the inventory on your car website. Very, very important. Now, then it says, please use the info below to find the customer 5 to 10 good domain options, high, medium, low price tiers, and draft an email selling them on the setup and some possible affiliate offers and niche size and Outlook, etc. Now, this is a basic prompt. We could go through and make this a fancy JSON prompt if we wanted to. It would work really well. But we're seeing this is actually doing pretty good where these are coming in. It is parsing the info and it is giving a really good overview. So I could almost just copy and paste this and send this to customer and say, which domain do you want? Here are the links to buy them. Next, what we have is the lead capture form. Then on the thank you page, we are passing that info to Aweber here, okay? Again, the code will do that, and obviously make sure that there's a button so that they are opting in, and you have all the terms and conditions, maybe even have a checkbox or something like that so they know. Or you could go through and have another form, right? That's pretty easy, not that hard to do. So what we're doing here is we're passing all this stuff so that we can have it automated in Manus. Super, super important. Now, going through here, we're going to have the reference number. That's so that we don't have to pass any information that we don't want to pass to the AI, because obviously that would be a third party. So we're going to keep it all internal. That's why we have that reference number, so that I could say, oh, hey, this is request, 12863. Boom, there we go. Okay, I can match it with whatever the email is. Very important. Always disclose how you're using information. Then we're going to have the prompt in the email. Then it's going to email it to Manus and to me. And then, of course, it'll go to the Aweber so that I can follow up with them in a regular mailing list manner. Now, what I like to do on the Aweber part is give them something. So like download your domain flipping class. Since this is about domains, that's something they would want. You could have a little checkbox there that says, I'm opting in to get emails or something like that. Like this here. It says, note, you'll be put on Marcus's new domain list where we update you with new niches and domains each week. And I'm finding that, even though that's kind of like a secondary opt-in, we are actually getting a good number of people. I think if we were to look at the amount of people who filled out the form, let's see how many emails. So we got, a good bit there, 56. So out of that, we are looking at 46. So only 10 did not fill it out. That's not bad, right? So I got 46 people on the mailing list. I got 56 leads. I'm ready to go. And the key is making something that is personal for people that is going to make a difference. And when we look at this with automation, this is absolutely key, because what's happening is it's saving me from having to do all this work over and over and over again. And where AI is going to shine, and it already started, is by taking out those little mundane tasks. So maybe you could go through and be like, okay, what kind of a dentist procedure do you need? Oh, if it's in this category, then it goes straight to the regular dentist. If it's in this one, then we need to, get it over to this specialist or whatever it is. Or even buying cars or buying houses or steps to apply for a mortgage or overlooking different things that people might need help with. What's going to happen is the AI is now going through and doing the research, which you used to have to pay people to do. And it's automated, it's instant, and you could see it just goes to work on all of these and gets all of the information that we want, so that following up is a lot easier. Very, very specific. And AI automation in this capacity, I am seeing is going to be huge. Now, always follow all of the spam email rules. Always follow all of the privacy rules. Keep it in-house. That's why we're going through and we're redacting certain things from the AI rather than just having the AI automatically do it, because this is a third party. This would be sharing info with a third party. So whatever you're collecting, I would say, make it basic. Like, what kind of car do you want? What are you willing to pay? Stuff like that, where it's not anything pertinent. It's just, oh, here's the data to go find the thing. Very important. So this is something that is going to get big over the years. I think it's going to be very powerful. Looking at it and having these follow-up systems is going to be a key element in marketing and a huge opportunity in the future in making money with AI. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button. Check out the videos in the description, including my first video on Manus email. Very important. I think this is going to be something that is going to grow very big, and I'm going to learn it now because I think it's super important. So I'm going to dive into this full throttle. And if you want to do the same, smash that like button, check out the videos in the description, and then let me know as a comment, and we'll provide more videos on AI automation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next training.